is Jessica Sack. Hi, I'm Jessica Sack. I work at the University Art Gallery. I'm going to talk tonight about sort of art for all and why I bought a camera. And I'm ready to move on. There we go. So I've been working in museums for the past 15 or so years and spending most of my days spending an hour at a time talking about objects and images and looking at other people's photographs and thinking about how the world is captured through art. And a few years ago, was with a friend in New York, in Brooklyn, and I was thinking about the image I'd want to take. I found this abandoned building in Red Hook that had an emergency exit sign on the second floor, and nowhere to go. You would fall out either end, but that was it. And I wanted to take this photo, and so this friend of mine who's a photographer said, oh, let's go on a photo shoot. I said, great, come on over. She came by, I came downstairs, I had no camera, she left. She didn't want to make photos if I didn't have my own equipment. Fast forward 8 years, I am invited to give a talk in New Haven to a photo society about other people's photographs of my memories because I still don't have a camera. And so I do that. I use the money from that event to actually buy a camera. And I begin to document the things around me that I find interesting. I discovered that most of the places I work are always under construction. And I'm intrigued by the way that language is used in signs around the world. This is not a photo I took, I borrowed it. But I would have. But the photos of language and the way that words work. I'm not a very good speller, and it wasn't until someone else's talk on that image that I realized the spelling error and I guess the effort that would have to be put into that activity for it to be not ticketed and towed. It's since been replaced. This is my father bird watching. I took this photo with my camera. He was very upset because it shows that he is thinning hair. He'd never seen the top of his head. But in any case, so once I had my camera, I began to take photos of things in my life, and I began to think about the photos that my family has. These are the women's temperance movement paying a dooryard call to my great-grandmother's house. I won't sing you their song, but I have the lyrics if anyone's interested. But both my mother's great-grandmother and my father's grandmother had huge photo archives of just their own photographs that were taken, and so I spent last summer having them scanned. And I wanted to think about what it means to leave your own photographs in your own family's archive for the future. And my father's grandmother, it was reported by my mother, who's married into the family, that she had run away from home at age 16 to marry Zelik. She left Minsk. He said he'd send her a telegram. Didn't happen, so she just went to Warsaw, found him, opened a photo studio, and rejected all of her. The next shot is her and all of her rejected lovers. She started at 16 and by 18 was madly in love with Zelik, moved to Brooklyn, opened a photo studio, and began to take portraits of photos. The back side of every one of these images says, rejected lover. Another rejected lover. Grandma's rejected lover. Apparently she served time in prison for drawing pornographic pictures of the Tsarina. I have not picked up the desire to sketch. I'm just sticking with photography. But in any case, so this leaves me with this legacy of photographs in the family, portraiture. And I work at the Yale University Art Gallery, which has an amazing collection of pictures of people. And so what I've been doing, this is my family, this is not in the gallery, this is my family. The next one's in the gallery. But what it leaves me with is a question of what do people talk about when they see these images, and what do the different ages of people talk about when they see things. Milton, who's 99 and comes on one of our memory loss programs, said to me one day, you know, a headdress that large will make any bust look small. And I think he has a point. But this is called Chorus Captain. He also said that he didn't think this woman would go home happily to her family. This is a 5-year-old who made a life discovery. The naked lady is a girl. And that's using the sculpture on the right. And he also discovered how labels work. But this child was visiting the gallery with a summer camp program, and the counselor was off looking at art, and he said, oh, don't bother, he's so focused. Which was true, but it's an exciting thing. We also work with third graders, and my favorite comment with this is Edward Hopper's Sunlight in the Cafeteria. A little girl wrote about how the man was smoking in the bar, he really liked the girl, but the girl was practicing snapping her fingers, which in 3rd grade is a feat. So now the Young University Art Gallery, I don't know if anyone's been there since we reopened on December 12th. We now have these amazing new vistas that weren't available before because the museum had other architectural features throughout. And we opened it up. We got rid of spaces, we built new spaces. This is the new view of the sculpture terrace that never existed before. That area against the sandstone wall there, that jagged sort of stepstone area looking thing, is where the old skylight used to be. The entire 4th floor was not a space, and now it is. So we are now able to think about what it means to have views from within the museum of the city. And then we also have a chance to think back and reflect on what are the exciting programs that we've done over the past few years. My favorite being, get this, a photo program with a bunch of teens from the New Haven Family Alliance. I worked with some of them over one summer to think about, this was also with the Yale Med School, to think about the role of violence in New Haven and what are the causes of violence in their communities. They were given cameras to make pictures of these things, and then we invited these 4 students to be part of curating an exhibition with us on photography. And Andre, the boy in the blue and white on the left, I asked him what his favorite image was, and he pointed at that Dion Arbus photo and said to me, I want all the kids here to start thinking like I think, and just to quit it, and not to have guns. And so this is my favorite piece. And I just think it's an amazing thing that we have institutions in this community that allow kids to have this voice and to think about what's important to them. In any case, this is the museum now. It's 3 buildings long. It's free. I'm there every day except for Sundays these days. So if anyone wants to come by, just let me know. I don't know, I think that it's a great opportunity for the world to have a place where you can talk about art together.